We've got some breaking news out of the NFL where the Las Vegas Raiders have released Derek Carr. That's according to ESPN. The move comes just hours before Carr was due over $40 million in guarantees. The Raiders' all-time leading passer is now set to hit free agency. He's already visited twice with the New Orleans Saints, and the Panthers are also reportedly interested in the veteran QB. And taking a look at Derek Carr's Raider franchise ranks, he's second in QB wins there, first in passing yards, first in passing touchdowns. Also, he's the Raiders' all-time leading passer, set to hit free agency. And we have Douzable joining us here in studio to talk about the Raiders releasing Derek Carr. Not really surprising news. We kind of knew it was coming, especially before that $40 million and some odds was supposed to kick in. So what was your initial reaction when you're hearing that they're releasing Derek Carr?
I love that Derek Carr and his agent had this in his contract so he can control the narrative, just in case this happened with Josh McDaniels coming over and being the new head coach. Let the Derek Carr sweepstakes begin is what I was actually thinking, Jackie. I mean, there's so many teams. They're going to be vying for his services. You know, the New York Jets come to mind, Tampa Bay Bucks. You already listed the New Orleans Saints and Carolina Panthers. There's going to be a multitude of teams who, if Lamar Jackson isn't made available, if Aaron Rodgers isn't made available, they're going to want the services of Derek Carr. Let's not forget, just a year removed for throwing for over 4,800 yards, almost 5,000 yards. 2016 was third in the MVP race. This guy can play football. I know a lot of people talk about the wins and losses, but let's not forget, Derek Carr has had one of the worst defenses in NFL history for the last decade. So if you talk about going to a Jets team that's a top 5, top 10 defense, I think you're going to get different results from Derek Carr. I'm so tired of people talking about wins and losses being quarterback stats. Well, when your defense is ranked literally in the bottom 5 almost every year you've been at a starting quarterback, you have to almost go out there and play perfect to win games. So Derek Carr, there's going to be a lot of teams vying for his services, and rightfully so. He's a really good quarterback in the NFL.
We just saw that list of teams that could be making a QB change. It was a long list there on the screen. So let's talk about the specific fits and some teams that might be a fit. You talked about the Jets. We talked about the Saints, the Panthers. Out of all these teams, maybe the Bucks. What do you think is the best fit for Derek Carr in his situation?
Yeah, if you're Derek Carr, you're looking at which team could potentially make a run in the playoffs. And you look at the New York Jets, you look at the New Orleans Saints. I'll start with the New York Jets. I talked about it earlier. Top 5, top 10 defense, a lot of young talent on the offensive side. Elijah Vera Tucker is one of the best young offensive linemen in the league. He comes back from injury. Breece Hall, who probably would have won Offensive Rookie of the Year if he didn't tear his ACL versus Denver Broncos, he comes back. You got Garrett Wilson on the outside, who did win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So you got a lot of pieces on offense you can work with. And then if you're Derek Carr, there's not going to be too much on your shoulders because you have a defense that can carry you, a defense that he's never had his whole career. And then the New Orleans Saints, right, they have a really good defense. Chris Olave on the outside. You got Alvin Kamara in the backfield. So you have some pieces there as well, plus the familiarity with the head coach, Dennis Kelly.
Yeah, and Robert Saleh saying, not too long ago, we're committed to finding a veteran QB. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Derek Carr. Let's talk about the Raiders a little bit and what they're going to do moving forward. Aaron Rodgers, when he was playing in that pro-am, a lot of people were screaming at him like, hey, get a reunion with Devontae. What do you think the Raiders are going to do at quarterback now?
Yeah, just like the Jets, I think they're going to be all in on the Aaron Rodgers train because, Devontae Adams, you traded for him so he could play with his best friend in Derek Carr. Well, he's very familiar with another quarterback, and that's Aaron Rodgers. So if you're Josh McDaniels, right, you thought maybe Tom Brady could potentially be a guy that you bring in. He decides to retire. Aaron Rodgers is probably the next guy on their list, and just knowing that franchise, they're probably going to try to go all in to get Aaron Rodgers and bring him over there and add him with Devontae Adams. You've seen Devontae Adams is already starting to recruit, even though technically Aaron Rodgers, technically, he's under contract right now, and he's about to go into a dark hole and get away for about 4 days to decide what he's going to do. And they said potentially that retiring is still on the table for him. We'll see, because he said the same thing last year and came back, and he's got 50 million reasons why he should come back and play football.
It's an isolation retreat? Is that what he said?
Something like that. Something in a dark room in the house. Like, how do you find the bathroom, though? That's the question. Like, everything's dark. Do you just feel around if you've never been in the house before?
Semantics. I don't know, Lige. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers decides to do. That is Lige Douzable joining us here on CBS Sports HQ to talk about that breaking news. If you're just joining us, we're following that news out of the NFL, where the Las Vegas Raiders have released Derek Carr. I'm sure the crew on the Pick Six podcast will have a lot to talk about with this latest news with Derek Carr. Make sure you download and listen wherever you get your podcast, and you can also scan that QR code.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.